I didn't even know the police had turned up. I was trying to find this fucking plug that was missing, and I found it, and I just put it in as he was talking to Al, and this speaker stack next to him went poof, and the whole place went bananas, you know, everyone was like, fuck you, police. So these are interesting photos. So this one is me in Ibiza, I think in either 1995, 96. Me and a bunch of mates had sort of gone on a holiday to Ibiza, and I think that is in S Paradis. And then these are all kind of various free party, like illegal rave photos. Club UK in Wandsworth was, you know, in its heyday in that kind of 1994 onwards period. So we started going there almost every Friday, and which is where this photo is from actually. That is me DJing at the last ever Final Frontier, which was the Friday night that Universe used to do at Club UK. So this one we actually broke onto Greenham Common. And Greenham Common, for those of you that don't know, is the military base where they used to store all of our nuclear missiles. So it's just outside Hungerford. And we went and scouted it, and this is just the perfect place to put on a party. So we put a party on New Year's Eve. And with free parties like this, you don't give people the address. They all meet in a place. So I think everyone was in Tesco's car park. There were fucking loads of cars waiting. And then one car would go in and go, right, follow us, and they'd all follow out. So they did that, but then, and this is probably at about 11 o'clock at night, and we're in here, set up. The trick with these parties was always get in and get the party going as much as you possibly can before the police come, because if they come and everyone's intoxicated, they can't make you leave. Otherwise, they're making people drink drive. So when they turned up, my mate Guy slammed the gate and it hit this Land Rover. So when the police got out, there were probably, I don't know, 10, 15 of them. They were not in the best of moods. And this chief of police here, who's talking to me and my mate Al here, he came round the front. Al was DJing at the time. He came round the front and he was just leaning in to talk to Al, and I was on the ground underneath. I didn't even know the police had turned up. I was trying to find this fucking plug that was missing, and I found it, and I just put it in as he was talking to Al, and this speaker stack next to him went poof, and the whole place went bananas, you know, everyone was like, fuck you, police, and you know. And then he came over and he said, look, this party's just not going ahead for a number of reasons. I don't even know where to begin, but I can tell you one thing is, what you don't know about this building is the whole ceiling is asbestos. And if you keep dancing, the dust is gonna, you know, it's not the best place to be putting on a party. So it was short-lived. I think we played 3 records and then the party was shut down. This is from one of the biggest raves that ever went down in the area by the monument in Lockinge, which is near Wantage. And there were probably 4 or 5 big sound systems. I reckon probably maybe 5,000-6,000 people at that party. It was, yeah, fucking amazing. You know, to be young and get the opportunity to DJ out and illegal raves, it was very punk rock. And then this one, speaking of London, is New Year's Eve 2001 going into 2002 at the Dome. And this whole thing here is the sort of stage structure, and the DJ booth is somewhere in there. And at the time I was working for Ministry, and I'd done one gig at the club. I managed to blag a gig at the club, and they really liked what I did. And they said, look, we need someone to be on hand to, and before I'd been involved in this kind of stuff, predominantly I was only DJing at, you know, like small club nights, very underground stuff like at Club 414 or illegal raves, basically. And they said, we need someone to come along to not be on the bill, but then we got people like Tiesto and Ferry Corsten and Brandon Block and Alex P. And in between the periods when they are playing, because a lot of them have got multiple gigs, so they'll come and play here, then they'll need to get to here. And there'll be times when people need to get somewhere and someone hasn't arrived, so you might do 10 minutes here or 5 minutes here. So I thought, yeah, definitely. And so I played about 4 times that night, and the longest one being about 40 minutes. And it was amazing. There's a lot of history in these pictures. The trance scene in the 90s was, you know, a lot of people credit like 99 to be the explosion of trance. It's not true. That just happens to be the year that people like Judge Jules and Radio 1 picked up on it. But actually, trance for me was more, I'd say, like 1992, 1993. It originated really from Germany, especially Frankfurt. But that kind of era is where trance really came from. And it was artists like Sven Vath and Westbam, and DJ Dag was, you know, he was my original hero. And so my first exposure to trance was really just listening to them DJ at Club UK. But the main 2 DJs during that period for me, my favorite 2 DJs who really got me into trance, was DJ Dag and Gail San. And a lot of the music I play, I make now is directly influenced by them, the sets that I've heard them play. Also CJ Bolland as well, a huge influence. So yeah, but it was a glorious period for trance. And then obviously the slightly more commercial end of it kicked off towards the end of the 90s. Still great, still equally important. You know, with Paul van Dyk, he sort of came a little bit from that other side, you know, bridging the gaps between techno and trance and stuff. So I gravitated more towards what Paul van Dyk was doing, because he sort of sat on the 2 sides of that fence. London does feel like my kind of home crowd. It feels really unusual that this is the first time I've ever played Trance Sanctuary. It's such an iconic part of not just London's club trance scene, but the UK's. I mean, when you think of trance and you think of London, you think of Trance Sanctuary. So to be playing it, and to be playing here in Fabric, where, you know, this is one of the best sound systems on the planet. So yeah, it's always a pleasure to be playing the music you put your life and soul into making on a sound system like that. But your parties are legendary, so it's a great honor to be coming. It's a great honor to be, I'm just fucking excited.